Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to Mothlike TV. We do appreciate it. So it's the end of the 10-ball league season, and in the hiatus before the season-ending tournament and before the league starts again, we've got a little couple of weeks. So I thought I'd bring you some Mothlike Matchroom Challenges. The one today initially was going to be a game of snooker played at Café, but when we got there, the 12-foot star table they had, which incidentally is an immaculate table, it's the best snooker table in San Diego. But it was occupied. There was three guys playing the gambling, playing winner stays on, 6 reds, and they were on that table all afternoon. So my opponent, Christian Bojorquez, he's one of the San Diego Metro BCA pool players, and we decided to play a race to 7 9-ball. Same as the Mothlike series, so it's WNT rules, 9 on the spot, break from the box. The difference with this set, however, is that it was winner breaks rather than alternate break, which we have in the tournament. And also in the tournament, for every 40 points of Fargo difference, there's 1 on the wire. As we join the match, Christian's actually already 1-0 up. This is rack 2, but he has had it over the table to me, and I've got a chance with the 3-ball.
So it's a fairly straightforward shot here. Just going to play slightly below centre with a little bit of left. Want to just try and stay above the pocket line on the 4 if I can. But I believe I've gone past it now, so having gone past that shot line, it means that I can follow forward with running side, top and right hand side to throw it around that angle and come down towards the 5. Let the cue ball go where it wants to go. I've come a little close to the side rail, but just looking at 6, it goes in the side pocket quite easily. So I need to play this with a little bit of right hand outside, just to keep the cue ball away from that long rail. Let's come straight up the table, and having come past 6 the way I have, I'm now going to push the cue ball around the bottom half of the table, this time with top and right. Again, running side, letting the cue ball go where it wants to, spin around this angle. And it's actually going to come up a little bit short. I wanted an extra foot or so to make this 8 unmissable. But now I've just got to drop it in. I'm going to put a hair of right-hand English on this again, just to try and keep the cue ball the right side table. Well, it's pretty much found the centre of the table, but this is still quite a makeable 9. I'm just going to play this with a little bit of bottom and left to make sure the cue ball goes nowhere near a scratch, and this should tie up the match 1 each. So winner breaks in this format, and we've got the 9 on the spot here and breaking from the box, so I'm now trying to cut the 1 into the right side pocket with draw. You saw there it just hit the long rail just below the side pocket. That means I was a fraction thinner than I wanted to be. But I'm just pointing out to Christian there that that magic rack we were using, I don't think it was super tight, especially the 2 balls behind the 9, and they are of course critical importance if you're going to get a predictable split. So I think he's got an edge of this, just playing safe. So it's a cross-side bank here. Just still trying to get the hang of this transference of side. I'm putting right-hand English on the cue ball, trying to put a bit of left English on the 1, but not quite enough. Came up short. Need to cut it a little bit more than I did. But not left anything easy for Christian, that's for sure. I see what he's thinking here. I don't think it goes past the 3. Very thin if you're going to try and cut that in the middle. So he's just going for the safety, but bumping the 7 with the cue ball spoiled it a little bit. Now this will just about squeeze past the 6. So it'd have to be quite a deep draw to get the cue ball up, just nudging the 3 with my elbow. Christian says that's fine, leave it where it is. Yeah, draw to the long rail and then back and cross in front of the 2. But hit it too thick, played it into the 6. So I've left an opportunity for a carom here. We will try and draw into the 2 and knock it in. That's a good shot. How's the 1 going to finish? Well, a bit tricky really. Cue ball being where it is. Again, I think he's going to try and just get a snooker here. Well, he went for the pot, and what a beautiful pot he pulled off there. That was lovely. Very smooth. He's on the 3. I think it does just squeeze past the 4, but... Oh, is he playing a combo? No, he was trying to put the 3 in directly. I think he may have benefited from wandering around the table and having a little peek from the behind the 3 ball, but he's left me this chance now. I just want to play slowly with a little bit of right to try and miss the 4 as I come off the bottom rail, and I just raise it ever so slightly, but that's okay. Play this just a little baby shot with a bit of bottom and left to spin the cue ball towards the middle of the table. I wanted to get past the pocket line, but I've finished plumb straight. So just going around to have a little look. Does the 6 pass the 7, the bottom right? Well, no, it doesn't. And the best option I'm thinking here is deep draw past where my bridge hand is to the long rail, and then try and get the 6 in the same pocket. I want to get a straight 6. Quite pleased with that strike. That's really unlocked the game. So the puzzle has been solved. Now it's just about being careful. And a stop shot. Just play out back to the centre of the table. Cue ball where it is now would be lovely. A little further away than ideal, but I'm still good. I'm going to play this with a lot of left. Let the cue ball run around 3 rails for the 9 in the same pocket. A little bit pacey, just a little pacey, but you're always better to be slightly too high on a 9 like this than too low. Too high is a lot more makeable than if you're low and you've got a very thin cutback. So this to take the lead. I get it. And I'll be breaking in rack 4. And you may have noticed there's a few graphics on screen here. Well, the first one, the top left-hand corner of your screens, I want to point out is the 11 a.m. on the 19th of July at the Break Room Bar. It's going to be the Phil O Memorial Tournament. Phil was a major figure on the local pool scene here, playing the APA and the BCA. Very much a well-loved figure, and sadly he passed away recently, and so this tournament is in memoriam of him, and all funds, all proceeds will be going to a cause for which he was very passionate, having worked in the field of breast cancer research for 20 years, and so all proceeds will be going to breast cancer research. Great cause. There are some slots still available if you're interested. It's a Scotch doubles chip tournament, and you'll find details at the Facebook page that's just appearing on screen, the Philo Memorial Tournament. You can also check out Mothlike on Facebook or Mike Holt on Facebook for details there. Great cause, lovely guy. Be wonderful if we can give him a good send-off. Well, tried to baby that, and that didn't work out, so turned the table over to Christian, and a nice opportunity for him here. Must have just play down, centre of the table, get the 2 in the side. Well, he just grazes off the 7, but that's okay. Bit of a thin snake, but if you can just cinch it, should be able to hold for the 3 in the opposite side. But now he's going to have to play right around the table. It's 4 rails, maybe 5. Play this with a lot of running English. And the thing he's got to watch out for is that line he was just measuring. He does not want to hit the 7. The 7 is in play here. He's got to avoid the 7 to get down for the 4. He's round the back of it. He's going to hit the 9 though. Yeah, ideally you wanted to come to the left of the 7 there. That would have been better. That would have kept him clear of the 9. So trying to kick at this 2 rails. And just misses. So he gives up ball in hand. And a great chance now to consolidate a new lead, trying to get to 3-1. But just looking, the 5's a bit tricky with the 8 ball and the 9 both blocking access to it in this bottom right. So I want to probably play for the 5 short side in the bottom left. So deciding to play the 4 with a little bit of running English to come 2 rails. And it wouldn't be a bad thing if I bumped the 6. That acts as a nice stopper, hold me in a nice shape on the 5. This one's got away. Yeah, that running side just really accelerated and the cue ball picked up pace as it hit the rail, so I put far too much spin on there. I only needed a hair, like a half a tip, and then I may have been better. So there's a very thin cut, which I don't really like. I'm actually looking at the shot where I draw the cue ball just below the 6 and bank the 5 up the table, so leave him snookered. So it's about cue ball control. Delicate little draw shot, just getting sideways under that 6 ball, but just a bit too much draw. So no snooker. And left a chance for Christian so he can level things up here. Well, quite modest with his cue ball. He could have played to get a bit closer to the 6, but happy with leaving himself a long shot. Play this with a bit of running English. And that's a great shot. Actually, he stunned it out. I thought he was going to run around the angle there. Just finished a little steeper than he would have liked. I think that little bump on the 8 ball spoiled his shape. So he's going to need a real great shot here if he's going to make this and get down for the 8. Yeah, catches it too thick. And he's left a chance here. Never easy with these when you're very close to the ball and offline. You're just trying to guesstimate where the correct contact point is to cut it in. So I'm thinking I want to play the cue ball forward off the top cushion and then all the way back down. Play off the bottom rail as well and then up for the 8 in this bottom left corner. But I'm close to the scratch. Yep. Hit the bump of the pocket and killed the pace of the cue ball, so not ideal. I'm thinking of a 2-way here, like a little stun forward, try and bank the 8, hold the cue ball below the 9. Again, my cue ball's not great. Quite fortunate not to leave something easier than this. And he's given me an opportunity. This is a great chance now. You just got to make sure you get above the 9. Don't stay below the 9. Get up. Oh, that's a poor stroke. I'm very disappointed there, turning away in disgust. Yeah, and that's a gift for Christian. When you get left the 8-9, it's and when you leave the 8-9 for someone, it's kind of a bit frustrating if you're the one doing the leaving and it's a little present gift wrapped when you're the one receiving it. And he's done okay there. He should make this, so there's got to be 2 each. And drop this 9 in. Well played. So nothing between us now. It's a race to 5. Christian with the break here in rack 5. And that's a lovely break. 8 ball flies in the corner. Is he going to have a shot at the 1? I believe So, well, that three's kind of gotten itself in the mix. Slightly interfering. I think he can still cut the one in without hitting the three first. He actually caught the one a bit too thick. And an easy opener here. It's a bit straight, so can't do an awful lot with the cue ball. Just thinking I'll leave myself a long two. Just a little stop shot. Here's some other graphics on screen here. You can see we've got stop 4 of the Mothlike Series 9-ball tournament. That's coming on Saturday, the 5th of July on Q Billiards in La Mesa. It's a $100 buy-in. It's $680 and under Fargo, the players who are eligible. But you do need at least 400 robustness on your Fargo score. So I capped that too thin. But too thin is always better than too thick. That's pretty safe. Yeah, and it's a handicap tournament. So each 40 points of difference in Fargo, equals 1 rack on the wire. So on the winner's side, it's a double elimination tournament. It's a race to 7, and the maximum handicap is 3 racks on the wire. So irrespective of the difference, the maximum you can give or receive is 3 racks, and that's for 120 points of Fargo difference or greater. If you do suffer a loss and you go over to the B side, that's a race to 5 where the handicap is a maximum 2 racks on the wire. And the final, it's not a true double elimination where you'd have to double dip in the final. It's actually just a longer race, so it's a single race to 9. And in the final, the max is 4 racks on the wire. So if somebody was 160 points of Fargo greater, they'd be giving their opponent 4 racks. And so it's a great opportunity. Don't be deterred by the fact that it's 680. And under the lower rated players have got a great opportunity. I'm being a bit optimistic with this jump shot here. I think it's looking a little bit precarious. And in fact, yeah, it didn't hit that nicely at all. No pop. Cue ball straight into the 9. So give Christian ball in hand. He's got a chance now. To take the lead. We're just having a conversation about jump shots and a bit of a laugh. Neither of us are highly proficient in that regard. This is pretty straightforward. 4 to the 5. Just wants to make sure he stays below the pocket line for easy shape to the 6. It's actually gone past the line, so now he's got to go down the table and back up. Yeah, and the other graphic you can see in the bottom left of your screen is we've had 3 stops so far of the Mothlike 9-ball series, and after those 3 events, it's Louis Abarca who sits in first spot, and the numbers you see after his name are 6 matches, 1 and a total of 48 racks. Antoine Anton stormed into a second place, winning the last tournament, where he actually got all of those points. He got 5 match wins and 28 racks. That's a great shot there from Christian. Looking good here for 3-2. And somehow or other, I managed to find myself in third spot with 4 match wins and 42 racks, but only a few racks ahead of both Michael Balignasai and Efren Rodriguez, both of whom have 4 match wins, and very little between them in terms of racks. Then you've got Tad, Nelly and Wayne, all on 3 match wins, so hopefully we'll see some of those guys in the next tournament. Stop 4 coming on the 5th of July, and they'll have a chance to increase their position in that leaderboard as Christian takes the lead here in this match. And at the end of the year, there's going to be a special invitational tournament for the top 16 in the rankings with added money and a trophy. And that's going to be a once-a-year thing. You get a chance to be the Mothlike Master for 2025. So lots to play for. And that's a beautiful break-off there from Christian. Got a nice shape on the 1, made the 1. The 3's over the side, the 4's in the open. This is a great chance. Just playing up and then back down is looking good here. perfect shape on the 4. You can just drop this in to leave a little angle. And with the 6 being in the open table situation, you can just play across here. Maybe lay a stroke out, play off the... Oh, he's just babied it. I was going to say play off both long rails, but he's happy with that. And just moving the max rack out of the way. Tarot max rack, I would strongly recommend it. It's a wonderful device. I find it to be about the best at keeping the rack tight. And looking good here now. He's just coming a little too far. Where's the cue ball going? Well, he's dicing with that middle pocket. Nearly hooked himself, but he's got a chance here. This is the last difficult shot, and he beautifully played. So looking like a break and run here from Christian, the first one of the match. Excellent shot. Really nicely played. So I'm going to see a round of applause here, the confetti cannon and all those good things as Christian completes this break and run to extend his lead to 4 racks to 2. Well played, Christian. Nice shooting. Some great shots there. Just talking here about the cut break once again. Christian was telling me before tonight he'd not played this 9 on the spot, so the whole idea of the cut break is entirely new to him, so he's still learning. Going to try and hit that one ball about 3/4 full with draw, and it almost made it there. The one just ever so slightly past the pocket, so he was a little bit too thick. Wants to just take a little hair off it next time, play a little thinner, and that one should fly into that corner, into that center pocket. So what does the table offer me here? Well, I don't see an offensive shot, so it's just bank the one directly straight up the table and back down towards this bottom cushion. Bit careless in removing the rack there. 9 ball rolling all over. But Christian's fine with it. Yeah, the cue ball's then going to follow forward. It's going to hit the long rail to the left of that 6 ball and follow forward and hopefully line up to give a full ball snooker and full table separation. Very much a snooker type safety shot, this one. Pretty big margin for error. So he's going to go for the short stick, I think. It's a good candidate for jump. Oh no, he's happy to kick at this. Catches it, but calls a foul there. Says that the 3 didn't hit the rail, and it was close, but he volunteers ball in hand. I must admit I hadn't really noticed that the 3 didn't hit, so it's a very honest play, good sportsmanship from Christian. Well, there's not a lot I can do with this. It's finished pretty much frozen to the 4 ball. Is it the 4 or the 2? I think it's the 2. And it's not like you can play a snooker really easily. It won't go in the middle. I'm just seeing if I can cut it in. And since he's already on 1 foul, I think getting the snooker would be nice. Just seeing, I don't really fancy that. But how do you get a good snooker here? So I'm thinking super skinny. Off the left side of the 1, cue ball comes down to the right of the 5, tiny little bit of left-hand English, and just nestles up under the 8. That's what I'm trying. But I'm a bit pacey. Yeah. The line wasn't perfect, but it would have still been okay if I'd hit it softer. So, chance. Not an easy shot, but he can try and cut this in and run into the 2. Gets it a bit thick. So a nice opening for me here. There's a natural angle to come round 2 rails and approach the 2 in the top right. Slightly below centre with a half a tip of right spin. It's not a draw shot. It's like a stunny type hit. That looks pretty good. would have preferred to have been straight or to the left of the pocket line, because then I would just play for the 3-8 combo. I'm still going to try that, but I have to now play around this left hand top angle. So bottom and left, trying to swing the cue ball around, finish on top of the 3. Once again, too hard, much too hard. Yeah, I want it to be somewhere around there. But all I can see here is the kick combo. Up and down, hit 3, knock the 8 in. So I need a good solid contact on the 3. Well, I caught it about half ball. I still thought the 8 was going to drop for a second, but notoriously stingy, these diamonds, deep shelf on the pocket, and the 8 ball was kind of like slightly away from the rail and just rattled. So maybe a cross side bank here. Oh, and his cue ball flies in, so he gives me the ball in hand. I think you just pop this in the top left. Try and leave yourself a little angle on the 4 to come out for the 5 in the same pocket, the bottom left. Well, you could even leave yourself a combo 5 onto the 8. The only thing is the 8 being so deep. I'm just looking, can I do 3 onto the 8? Yeah, that 8 being so deep in the jaws, it's easy to either follow it in with the ball you roll onto it, or worse still, miss it altogether if you're trying to go rail first. So yeah, decision made. Drop 3 in the top left corner. Get the cue ball out a little bit so you've got a bit of an angle on the 4 to maneuver the white for the 5. And again, just a little bit of a stretch. That's okay. Yeah, I've got a nice angle here. I could just do a straightforward stun shot. Get the cue ball to depart from that 5 at 90 degrees from its angle of approach, so it will go directly towards the 6. And this should be elementary now. Perfect angle on the 6 to just drift over to the right a little. You want the 7 in the side, really. And got a bit too much action on that cue ball. Fortunately, the 8's right over the pocket, so I can just play a combo. But I was playing for that 7 in the side pocket. I was just trying to leave the 7 close after knocking the 8 in. And it's come away a little, but I think I'm okay. Similar to the 9 ball I made earlier, I play this with a little bit of bottom and inside, so in this case left English. Just check that cue ball straight up and down. Now where's it going to finish? It always finishes below the 9, doesn't it? Well, fortunately for me, it's pretty straight in this side pocket. So this one, to stop the rot and get a rack back, stop Christian's momentum. So it'll be 4-3 to him after this, but I will have the break in rack 8. There we go. Now, what kind of a break can I muster here? Can I get this cut break working? Made sure the rack is super tight. Give it a little bit more pace than I gave the last one. Oh, not ideal. I mean, the 1 just actually hit half a diamond down from the pocket, so I don't know if there was something wrong with the rack or if it was just a bad hit. No damage done. Here you go. I'm just saying to have 4 balls so very close to the rack, it's not a good split. And also to have 7 of the 9 balls all in the bottom half of the table just shows it was a poor break, a poor split. So what did he do here? I'm just engaged in conversation still. I don't really see an attacking option. I don't think it passes the 6. So you could play a bank type shot. I'm just skimming off it, then trying to get the cue ball behind the 8 and the 7. Use this wall of balls, but would you believe it? There's always a gap, as the great JV would say. Those of you who are familiar with the snooker commentary will know what I'm talking about. Famous, of course, for the "where's the cue ball going?" But he's got a few little catchphrases. And there's always a gap is one of them. So, trying to throw this in with a bit of right English and bottom to get the cue ball tightly around that top right angle. But it's too hard once again. The line is good, but much too hard. So, I have got a tiny sliver of this 2 available. And I'm just looking... I catch it that thin, there's every chance it's going to hit that long rail on the right and then come back over towards this bottom left corner, and the 7 is there, making the pocket ever so slightly larger. I'm just still moaning to Christian about my last shot. Okay, so it's an attempted bank here in this bottom left. Look at that, clean as a whistle. But unfortunately, didn't promote the 3 as I wanted, just sent it all the way around the table and snookered myself. So it's a 2-railer, trying to catch the 3 thin and combo the 4 in the bottom left. Yeah, well, it's a good hit. And I believe I may have got a snooker back. Taking the rack out there. Yeah, he's swerving here, Christian. Just jacking up a little bit. Downward striking, a lot of left spin. Good hit. But where's the cue ball going? Famous last words. So, nice chance here. If you could make a combo out of the 4-8, that would open everything up. So, just want to leave this a little bit more of an angle than I've just set up there, so I can approach the correct angle on the 4 to make that 8. I'll try and get the cue ball over to the left a bit here. I'm going to try and be as straight in as possible. And a little underhit, but I'm just waiting for the player on the next table. And it's tight, but it does go. And you know, some shots you just fancy them. Well, I kind of fancy this. Yeah, that's as clean as a whistle. And I've got a nice angle on the 4. No work to do to get on the 5. So it's all about this shot now. If you can get on the 6, it should really be all over, and I can level up the match once again. And I've done well to avoid all the furniture, but it's gone too far. I was actually playing for the 6 in the side pocket there, and although it's still cuttable, it's extremely skinny. Cue ball's going to be coming down close to the scratch, But I think it's that thin you would actually hit the long rail above the corner pocket, but he was going to be whizzing right around the table. It could well end up scratching in the top right corner. And it's something about that shot I just don't like. It's come a bit too far. So I'm now looking at the bottom right to just cut the 3 in there. Now, think about this, you're cutting across the face of the ball. There's very often a little bit of cut-induced throw comes into play, so you tend to miss this thick. That little bit of extra friction as the ball's contact. So back to looking in the side pocket. Still humming and hawing. Thing about cutting it in the bottom right is that's also a bit scratchy in this left centre. Especially the pace I'm going to play it, I'm just going to try and float it in. There's no work to do for the 7. If you just finish anywhere on the left, you're good. So I'm now back to playing it in the corner. I'm just going to wait for this guy who's on the next table, play his shot, and then I'm going to get down and roll this in. Made my mind up, made a decision, committed myself, and that's it now. Time for thinking is over. It's now time to execute. And you just want to try and put a little smooth stroke on this, and I'm just aiming a little thinner than I think. Playing ball. And that drops in nicely, and the cue ball just misses the scratch, so very close. And now it's just about getting good on the 9, so play this slowly. It's almost a drag shot with on the left. Trying to play 2 rails for the 9. Well, it's not ideal. I'm under the rail, but it's straight enough to make it a decent opportunity. Just got to stay dead still. Minimum movement here. Keep your head down. Float this in. Level up the match. And I'm pleased with that out. Keeps it tight. Can I get my cut break working? Would be nice, wouldn't it? Decided to change sides. The other side wasn't working so well. And I caught that well too thick. I've actually got lucky, a ball's gone in anyway, but no shot on the 1. But yeah, the 1 was I was just pointing there, it was past a diamond up from the left centre pocket, so I did it much too thick. And I'm looking at kicking here, not kicking, pushing out here. I don't want to leave the cue ball anywhere in the bottom half of the table because that 1 is available. So I'm just thinking for the 2-5 is very little chance of a run out. So I think I'm just going to leave the cue ball in the top right hand corner of the table. All he's got is the safe off the 1 that way. Yeah, so mine made up, I think. Just to contain his safety. So I would probably, if it was me, play thin off the left edge of the 1 as he's looking at it. The 1's obviously going to drift to the right and then over towards that top left corner, and then hopefully the cue ball will come down below the 4. But he catches the bump. Is he still going to get below the 8? Yeah, that's pretty good. This is a jump shot all day. 1 temptingly close to the pocket. So just get the good elevation here. Try and put a better stroke on it than you did with the last one. One of the key things, and one of my common failings, is not keeping my bridge hand firmly planted to the table. And I don't know if you noticed that as I hit, there was movement in the left hand, the bridge hand. And that's a common fault which I've noticed. Sometimes I even do a little hop, as if me jumping is going to have any bearing on the cue ball. It will have the opposite effect. So nice pot there. I think he can square this 2-ball up enough to bank it, and he will hold for the 3 up the rail. Yeah, he didn't quite get the twist he needed to straighten that 2 up, but this is a good shot. Maximum separation. So all I can do is kick at this top cushion. I'm not going to hit it too hard, just going to try and get safe. Keep the balls close together. And a fairly straightforward safety here. I would imagine he's got to skim thin off that 2 and get the cue ball down below the 9 or the 4. Super skinny. Oh, he's just run out there. He had a little bit of running side on which he didn't need. And this is almost dead straight. So I'm thinking just float it. Yeah, that's the best way to give yourself maximum chance to make those. And nice angle just to bounce off the bottom cushion and back up for the 4-ball. After a nice angle, can just play 1 rail over towards the 5. Don't want to be straight on the 5. Catch that long rail just below the middle pocket. I'm guilty here of playing a bit quick. I've not really considered where I want to be on the 7. I'm just thinking anywhere will do, or anywhere will not do. And I've finished just about as awkward as I could have done. I'm the wrong side of straight. I can't really get close to the 8 here. I could try and power it in with top coming close to the pocket with the cue ball. I don't fancy doing a massively powerful draw shot, so I'm just trying to draw back 2 feet if I can to leave a straight-ish 8. But there, what I should have done before I played that 5-ball was just have a little walk around to see exactly where do you want to be. Do you want to be short of the pocket line? Do you want to be past the pocket line? And I've left myself a bit of distance here. It's still makeable, but considering I was completely in line, I've now given myself a missable shot. And kind of decelled a bit there, didn't put a nice stroke on it. And I've given a gift wrap 8-9 to Christian. Just when I was getting some momentum going, at a 2 on the spin, I presented with a nice chance to go back in the lead. And precisely what he's going to do here with this 9-ball. Take rack 9. And lead 5-4. 2 from home. Yeah, so moral of the story, always make sure you've got a plan before you play your shot. So, rack 10 here, Christian with the break. Let's see how he can do now with this gut break attempt. Trying to put the 1 in the right side pocket. And too thick once again. You see the 1 being about a diamond above the pocket. And he's given me a nice opener here. The 2 will pass the 6 in the bottom right. So you've got to play to the left of the 7. I don't like that, so I'm actually using a bit of inside to stay to the right of the 7. And that'll do. Little bump, very kind.
I love you.
I'm just trying to play 1 rail and above the 3, same pocket. Wasn't really down right there. I got down quick and felt a little uncomfortable. And what's the moral of the story, everyone? Yeah, you all know what I'm going to say. If you're not quite right, you must get up and reset. And it's just laziness sometimes. Lack of discipline. What a beautiful bank that was. Gorgeous shot there from Christian. Nice length of the table corner pocket bank. Sets himself up on the 3. and struck that one with confidence. Got a nice angle here on the 4. 5 is waiting. Great chance this. Yeah, that's all the way. No, he's just missed. A little bump on the 9 would have saved him, but he's now finished nowhere. So what do you do? I mean, it's hard to continue attacking here.
I love you.
Yeah, I think he's going to take his medicine and just play safe. But hang on. Boom. I don't think he played that. I think he was just trying to put the 5 on the top cushion and leave me snookered. But hey, they all count. And the secret of this game is when you do get a bit of good fortune, make the most of it. Well, left himself a lot to do here with this 7. Oh, and that's a gorgeous stroke. Beautifully played. Absolute economy of effort. Great shape on the 8. Looking good now to seal the deal and get himself on the hill. A little close to the rail, but he's been very solid on these so far. Well played, Christian. There you go. You are on the hill. And I'm in the last chance saloon now. I've got to play no mistake pool if I've got a chance. I need the next 3 racks to take this set. Oh, and he was close that time. One of the closest he's been. Nearly got that cut break going. And I think I'm going to go for the cut here in this bottom left. Try and draw across the face of the 7.
Love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down.
Just a little too thin.
Get funky.
Could have been worse. 3 balls come and done me a favour. I think he's reaching for the short stick. Once again, folks, just want to remind you guys on the 19th of July, there's going to be a memorial tournament for the very popular Phil O, who sadly passed away recently. That's going to be from 11 a.m. at the break room, and all proceeds are going to go to his passionate charity that he was in support of for 20 odd years, that is the breast cancer. And there are still spaces available if you'd like to play. It's a Scotch doubles chip tournament. Please check out the Facebook page for the Phil O Memorial Tournament, or you could check out Mothlike or Mike Holt on Facebook for further details. Meanwhile, wow, I don't think it was possible to cut that so thin. But I think he's just going to find himself, well, certainly maximum separation is what I'm going for. I'm trying to also get a bit of a snooker here. I'm going to leave that 1 ball. Pretty much where it is, and run around, get behind the wall of balls. And it's not a hardest kick in the world, but it's never easy to get these safe. You're always trusting to a little bit of luck. Okay. I'll just draw this in the bottom right. Should be an automatic shape on the 2. Well, I didn't exactly play into the cluster like that, but it will do. Quite fortunate, I've got the gap. So I can still make this. But in order to get on the 3, it won't go in the top left, so you've got to play the cue ball through the gap between the 8 and the 9. So it's one of those that you want it to try and take the line that it approaches the 2. You want it to almost go back on the same line. So, not too much draw, it's more just right English. But it's judging the amount. Too much. Quite a bit too much, actually. I caught the bottom side of the 8. So, what do you do here? There's a potential cross corner bank in the top right. You could cut the 3 over to that left hand long rail. That's what I'm looking at now. Maybe get the 3 in and then spin that cue ball around. Try and get it all the way back down the table. I've got the cue ball where I wanted it. I'm just going to roll a bit further. Give me cover. Can't quite tell from this angle. It looks a little misleading. Seems to be putting a bit of swerve on this. Yeah, he's definitely jacking up. Yeah, he obviously was snookered there. Wanted to get a bit more swerve than he was able to. So, this is a chance now. Really got to try and do something. Get a little bit of momentum going myself. I'll get a nice run out. So get some confidence up. There's actually a little bit of fluff there right next to the 4. It took me a little while to get it off the table. Now, just float above the 4. Little angle would be nice. But as flat as a pancake, as they say. So, just going to try and draw up the table towards the 5. That's not ideal. Yeah, I don't really like this now. A bit scratchy if I play the top left. Well too thin for the top right, so what I'm thinking is just cutting that 5 to the top rail and get it to bank down below the 9. That's the target for the 5. And then the cue ball across, missed a 6 if you can, missed a 6, caught the 6. And that's not bad. Good separation. Nothing easy for Christian. I think he's just going to try and snooker me back here. 2 ways you could do this. You could just bank the 5 over to the right. Or try and bank it up and down. He's gone for the latter. And unless he gets lucky, he's going to leave this up. And it's hard to get on the 6 from here. Kind of quite a thin shot. I'm close to the rail, so I can't be really putting a lot of action on the cue ball. But it's just going to go where it wants to, so my objective is just make the 5. Probably going to clatter into the 7-9. Done precisely that, and actually that's not finished too bad. That could have been a lot worse. Got a shot. So you play this with top and right. Cue ball around 3 rails for this 7. When it rattled a bit, it had a good look down the pocket, as they say, but decided it wanted to go in. And now just top this in. Tiny little trace of right. Want to try and come round 2 rails for the 8 in the side pocket. Oh, but that's not a good line. I'm right on top of the 8. Oh dear. Don't like that very much. It's another one of those. I had a 7 ball like this earlier, which I was able to make actually, but this one's a little bit trickier. I've got to come all the way down, up, and then back down again. Catch it too thick. Where's the cue ball going? Well, kind of fortunate to have such a good separation and to have left him something so tricky. Considering I missed that by the proverbial mile. And that was a tough one. Where's it going to finish? Get thinnest of double kisses. And do you know what? That's all it took to put the 8 ball safe. It won't pass the 9. I'll try and cross corner bank this. No, it's just a safe. And that's actually not bad, you know. Not bad at all. It's frozen to the rail, so he's going to be tempted to play this with a lot of right spin. Cushion first, cut it in. But he misses it altogether. And that's just what the doctor ordered. He's given me a gift wrap 8-9. And I can close the gap. Still in this match. He needs 1. I'm going to need 2. I can pot this 9 to make it 5-6. There you go. I get a bit fortunate with some of the rolls. And any chance of making the 1 on this cut break? Come on. Give me a decent break. Just trying to compose myself a bit. Get it in my head. Where I'm going to put that ball. What? That was even thicker than the last one. And it's dressed up nicely for Christian. Here's his chance. Oh, they're nicely open. He's just got to negotiate a bit of furniture if he wants. So he's got to put it in the corner, is he? Oh, yes. Nicely played. A lot easier to shape for the 2 that way. But it's going to be tricky to get on the 3. Yeah, he had a lot of left spin to get over on the left side of the 3, and he did achieve that. In fact, he's had a bit of a result. Few balls roll behind the 6. So it's just a 1 rail kick. Oh dear. He should be hitting those. 1 rail kicks. Absolutely. So another chance for Christian. But he's not really got where he wanted to be. Want to be well below that 6 ball. Loaded up with spin again. Well, that's not too shabby. Pretty safe. So it's about what type of safety shot I play here. I would normally want to play the super skinny off the right edge of the 3 as we're looking at it. Yeah, that's what I played. Just caught the 9, but been quite fortunate as a consequence. I think if I hadn't caught the 9, he would have had a shot. So I've had a bit of a jelly roll there. And his attempted kick goes astray, so this is a nice chance now. Next 3 balls are all clustered together by this corner. The 6 is in the open, the 7's also nicely available. He should be getting out here. So not too straight on the 4, just enough angle to get past the 5 cleanly. That's not ideal, you know. Could have been a lot of easier shots to get from the 5 to the 6 than this. It's just a draw shot, I think it's that flat. But that's okay, that's turned out okay. But once again, I'm a little flat, you know. And that 9 being where it is, it just makes getting on the 7 a bit tricky. The 9 is very much in play here. But the shot that worked well for me previously was a deep draw shot. I think it was 5 to the 6 earlier in the match. So it's the same story here, but this time I'm going to play with a lot of right spin and deep draw, which will reverse if it hits the rail. Not got a lot of backspin, but the side spin activated. Actually didn't need it as it happened. Left myself super skinny on this 7. Yeah, just indicating that 6 wasn't straight. I somehow managed to make it straight the way I played it. So, super skinny. Just try and float this in. Oh, but that's not too bad, you know. Could have been a lot worse, all things considered. Full ball snooker. And it's not so much hitting it, but can he get it safe? Where's it going to finish? Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Look at that. I just looked at my face there. I think I was sucking air through my teeth. So, super, super skinny. I think a good separation. Get this cue ball on the top cushion if you can. That's not bad, you know. Trying to tempt him into taking on the long bank. I don't think he's having any of that. Yeah, a couple of options. You could just bank the 7 halfway up this long rail on the right, try and get the cue ball over behind the 9. But do you know the way he's played this? I think he might have been going for the bank after all. Is he going to get cover again? My body language suggests I'm not too impressed, but actually, this is on. He's left just enough at the 7. And the 8 is what you would call the perfect guide. You miss the 8, just miss the 8, that 7 flies in. So it's a plain ball, natural angle this. You just come across one cushion, that left hand long rail for the 8 in the left centre. Just a smooth stroke here, just try and time this one nicely. I'm a bit pacey, a little bit pacey. I've just gone past my ideal shape. So it's got to go in the corner now. And it's a bit scratchy in that left centre, the cue ball. So you've got to get maximum topspin on this. Not hit it too hard, but you've got to get proper follow forward action on this white. So shorten up your bridge, get a nice high bridge, good high tip position, and push the cue right through the cue ball. And that will do. Not ideal, but I'm happy with this. Just getting the routine together. Focus. This 9 ball. Make it hill. Hill, folks. We're going to have a final frame decider. Oh, yes. That's a delightful feeling. Making that 7, 8, 9. Wasn't a lot of balls. The 7, 8 were pretty good shots. I'm happy with that. So here we go. We had to go all the way. It's rack 13. It's unlucky for some. Hope it's not me as I break these balls for the last time in this set. How's my cut break doing? Any chance of making the 1? Yes! Finally! A shot on the 2? I think I've got a shot on the 2. But then you think to yourself, it's a tough shot. You can't really get on the 3. The safety, the snooker is locked up, guaranteed. All you've got to do is a soft little draw shot. Glue yourself to that 6. Just make sure the 2 hits the rail and he's in a world of pain. That had to be the shot. I'm sorry. That had to be. Not an easy one to hit this by any means. I think he's coming 2 rails at it. Somewhere near this 1 diamond to the right of the corner pocket. Oh, he was close. Well, he hit it, but no rail. Needs to catch it on the way down. On the way up rather than the way back down. Okay, what do you do here? Well, the 4-9, forget about it. You can't run out. What you probably end up doing is playing for a snooker on the 4. Sometimes I can get a little bit too complicated for my own good here. You just need a shape on the 3. You can play the cue ball to that bottom right hand corner of the table. For some reason I'm thinking the best way to do that is to play with top. There's a little bit of gunk on the 2 ball. Just cut rid of it. I want to follow forward here. Ideally I'd want the cue ball to hit the middle diamond, that short rail, and then continue on towards the 3. That's what I'm playing. But you see, I was a good half a diamond short of that, and now I'm in no man's land. Don't fancy the bank, so I think it's a safety. Just trying to get the cue ball below the wall of balls. Try and leave 3 on the top cushion. Well, fortunate. Kissed the 8 there. I've still got the full ball snooker. Didn't get the 3 safe. Could have been worse, that one. It's a good hit. Where's it going to finish? I think it's dressing up for me. So once again, I think the target position for the cue ball, if you could make it, would be somewhere over towards the 8 ball. Maybe. Just looking, is there any chance you can get the snooker this way? Don't think there is. So you've got to put top at maximum left spin on this. Try and get the spin to take off the short rail to flick that cue ball over. Get it below the 4-9, over to the right. So a lot of spin required to achieve that result. Well, as it happened, I stunned across, nearly got the breakout. So it's a safety after all. And I think the way to play this is just thin the 4 on the left as you look at that screen. The 4 will then go gently over towards the 8 ball. And I've just got to make sure our cue ball hits below the centre pocket so don't scratch. And then a little bit of right English would help widen the angle off that cushion. Get it up there towards the middle of the top rail. So it's slightly below centre. You jack it up ever so slightly, and that's just to widen the angle off the 4 so that it takes the middle pocket scratch out the equation. Just looking to see where that 4 is going to end up. And the 9 hits the 6 and also goes over to the right to form a blocking ball as well. And that is pretty good snooker. I think he's got to play with a lot of left spin. Miss the 8 coming down, then catch the 4 going back up. If he catches it right, he could get himself a nice snooker back. But actually he's left it on. And all you've got to do here is drift across. I think you try and use both long rails. Little bounce. And then push this in, just follow forward, try and get the gap between the 7 and the 6 to leave the 6 in the top left. And it's the shot with the bridge, or the rest as we call it. Back in the United Kingdom. So it's 2 rails. You'd put a tiny hair of right spin on this. And ever so slightly further than I wanted. But it's just a gentle cut in the left centre. Half a tip of left spin. Cue ball comes off the top cushion. Back down. Leave a little angle on the 8. Oh, it's too thick. too thick. And that was the game there, folks. Have I thrown it away? Well, it's out of my hands now. It's up to Christian. Can he finish these 3 balls off? That's there. Nice shot. He's a little further away from the 8 than might have wanted. Still very makeable. Oh, but he's lost the cue ball a bit here. I'm sure he wanted to be closer to the 9 than this. So it comes down to the wire. The last ball. I've got a frack. Can he be a hero? No. And is it going to stop over the side? There it has. It's a little bit scratchy. He says, I wish that had rolled a bit further. And I say, I wish it would have rolled a bit less. He fears the worst, but I'm just concerned about the scratch. But all I can do is just float this in as gently as I possibly can and try to avoid the scratch.
Wow, so that was a close fought contest, went right down to the wire. I'm quite pleased going back from 2 behind with my opponent on the hill. None of it was played fantastically, although there was some good run-outs, and we showed glimpses of what we're capable of. But of course, at our level, there's always that inconsistency, there's the mistakes, the loss of cue ball control, and that challenge is what keeps us coming back for more. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please smash the like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video with your friends. That really does help us get promoted in this YouTube algorithm and helps us bring more videos to you like this one. Speaking of which, there'll be another Mothlike Matchroom Challenge coming soon, so look forward to seeing you all then. Thanks for tuning in.